Our world is shaped by the way we perceive it. Every day we come across the same events, the same people, and the same situations as others, yet our interpretations differ greatly. This is because perception is not just about what the eyes see. It is about how the mind processes, understands, and gives meaning to what is seen. Two people standing in front of the same painting can have completely different emotions and interpretations of it. One might see a masterpiece full of depth and meaning, while the other sees nothing more than a canvas with random colors. The reality is the same, but the perception differs. How shapes perception? It is a combination of upbringing, experiences, emotions, and beliefs. A child raised in a loving and supportive home will likely view relationships as sources of warmth and security, while someone who has faced constant betrayal may see relationships as dangerous and unreliable. A person who has struggled with financial hardship may view money as something difficult to earn and always at risk of being lost, whereas someone born into wealth may see it as an abundant resource. These different life experiences act as filters through which people interpret the world around them. Beyond personal experiences, culture also plays a significant role in shaping perception. What is considered polite, normal, or even beautiful in one culture might be viewed entirely differently in another. In some cultures, maintaining eye contact is a sign of respect and confidence, while in others, it can be seen as aggressive or confrontational. The same action, when viewed through different cultural lenses, can carry completely opposite meanings. This is why misunderstandings often arise when people from different backgrounds interact. They may be looking at the same situation, but their interpretations differ based on the perspectives they have developed over time. Another major factor that affects perception is emotion. When someone is in a state of happiness, even minor inconveniences may seem insignificant. On the other hand, when someone is upset or stressed, even a small comment from a friend can feel like an attack. This is why two people can experience the same event, but their takeaways from it can be drastically different. A rejection, for instance, might be seen by one person as a failure, while another may view it as an opportunity to learn and improve. The way we choose to interpret events influences the way we respond to them, which ultimately shapes our future. This understanding is crucial when it comes to human interactions. Conflicts often arise because people assume that their perspective is the only correct one. When two individuals argue, each is convinced that they are right because they are interpreting the situation based on their personal experiences and emotions. However, the key to resolving disagreements lies in recognizing that different perspectives exist, and that there is often no single absolute truth. By acknowledging that another person's perception is as real to them as ours is to us, we open the door to understanding and empathy. Broadening one's perception is not about abandoning personal beliefs, but about being open to seeing things from multiple angles. The more we expose ourselves to different ideas, cultures, and ways of thinking, the more flexible and open-minded we become. This does not mean that we must agree with every viewpoint we encounter, but rather that we should recognize that our perspective is not the only one. A rigid mind is limited, while an open mind has endless potential for growth. At the end of the day, perception is what defines our reality. While we all have the same eyes, our views are shaped by so much more than what is physically in front of us. Understanding this allows us to approach life with greater patience, empathy, and wisdom. Perception is deeply influenced by personal experiences, shaping how individuals interpret the world around them. No two people have lived identical lives, which is why their perspectives differ, even when facing the same situation. Every moment, our past experiences create filters through which we process new information. These filters are built by childhood memories, past successes and failures, the people we have met, and the lessons we have learned along the way. A person who has faced constant rejection may see challenges as impossible obstacles, while someone who has been supported and encouraged may see them as exciting opportunities for growth. The external reality remains the same, but the way it is perceived depends entirely on the internal conditioning of the individual. Imagine two students taking the same exam. One has grown up being told that intelligence is fixed and that failing a test means they are not smart enough. The other has been encouraged to see mistakes as learning experience. If both students receive a low grade, their reactions will likely be different. The first may feel defeated, believing that their failure is proof of their lack of intelligence, while the second may see it as motivation to study harder and improve. This simple example demonstrates how past experiences shape interpretation and in turn influence future actions. Beyond personal history, perception is also molded by the environment. The way a person views life is often a reflection of the surroundings they have been exposed to. A child raised in a household that emphasizes gratitude may naturally develop a mindset of appreciation, seeing blessings in everyday moments. On the other hand, someone raised in an environment filled with negativity may struggle to recognize the good in life, even when it is right in front of them. Look, the difference in perception is not due to reality itself, but rather to how one has been conditioned to see it. Another crucial factor in perception is the presence of biases, both conscious and unconscious. Every person holds certain beliefs that shape their understanding of the world, often without realizing it. These biases can be influenced by cultural norms, family teachings, or personal experiences. For example, if someone has had negative encounters with authority figures in the past, they may be more likely to distrust leadership, even when presented with fair and just leaders. Similarly, if someone has only been exposed to one side of a story, they may struggle to see an opposing perspective, believing their view to be the only truth. These mental shortcuts, while sometimes useful for making quick decisions, can also lead to misunderstandings and incorrect judgments about people and situations. Expanding perception requires conscious effort. It involves questioning long-held beliefs, seeking out different viewpoints, and being open to learning from others. One of the most effective ways to broaden one's understanding is through exposure to diverse experiences. Traveling to different places, interacting with people from various backgrounds, and reading books that challenge existing viewpoints can all help in breaking down the limitations of a narrow perspective. The more we expose ourselves to different ways of thinking, the more flexible our minds become. Empathy also plays a significant role in shaping perception. When people take the time to understand another person's experiences, they gain insight into why they think and behave the way they do. Instead of immediately judging someone for their actions, understanding their background can provide clarity. A person who seems distant and unapproachable may not be rude, but rather shy or struggling with personal difficulties. A colleague who is overly competitive may not be arrogant, but may have grown up in an environment where they constantly had to prove their worth. By making an effort to see things from another person's perspective, we can cultivate patience and compassion, leading to stronger and more meaningful connections. Ultimately, perception is a lens through which we view the world, and it is shaped by everything we have experienced, learned, and believed. Their minds are naturally filtering the information to fit their pre-existing narratives. Recognizing these biases is essential for developing a more balanced and accurate understanding of reality. Perception is not just about how we see the world, it also affects how we respond to it. If someone perceives challenges as threats, they may become fearful and avoid taking risks. But if they see challenges as opportunities for growth, they are more likely to embrace difficulties and push forward. A person who believes they are capable and deserving of success will take action with confidence, while someone who sees themselves as unworthy may hesitate and miss opportunities. The way we perceive ourselves and our abilities ultimately shapes the choices we make and the lives we create. To develop a more accurate and open-minded perception, it is important to practice self-awareness, questioning our own assumptions, considering alternative perspectives, and seeking out new experiences can help us break free from narrow thinking. Engaging in meaningful conversations with people from different backgrounds, traveling to new places, and reading diverse literature all contribute to expanding perception. When we recognize that our view of reality is not the only one, we become more understanding, more adaptable, and more capable of navigating the complexities of life. In the end, perception is not about what we see, but how we choose to see it. When we learn to look beyond our personal filters and embrace different perspectives, we open ourselves to greater wisdom, deeper connections, and a more enriched understanding of the world. People often believe that their perspective is the only valid one, assuming that what they see and experience is the absolute truth. However, reality is far more complex. The way each person interprets the world is shaped by countless factors, including their upbringing, emotions, culture, experiences, and even subconscious biases. This is why two people can look at the same situation and come away with entirely different understandings. Our minds filter information based on what we already believe, what we have experienced, and what we feel in the moment, making perception a deeply personal and often subjective process. One of the most powerful influences on perception is personal experience. Life shapes the way we see things, sometimes in ways we don't even realize. For example, someone who has faced a lot of hardships may develop a survival mindset, seeing challenges as obstacles meant to break them. On the other hand, another person with a similar background might develop a growth mindset, viewing those same challenges as opportunities to learn and become stronger. Neither perspective is inherently right or wrong, but they lead to vastly different outcomes. The way we frame our experiences determines whether we approach life with fear and hesitation or with confidence and resilience. Emotions also play a crucial role in shaping perception. A person who is feeling happy and hopeful will naturally interpret situations more positively, while someone who is stressed, anxious, or angry may see those same situations in a negative light. Imagine two people walking into a meeting. One is feeling confident and well-prepared, while the other is nervous and unsure of themselves. The confident person sees the meeting as an opportunity, while the nervous one sees it as a test they might fail. The reality of the meeting does not change, but their internal state alters how they perceive and experience it. This is why it is so important to manage emotions effectively, because the way we feel directly influences how we see and react to the world. Cultural background is another major factor in perception. People from different cultures often interpret the same actions, words, and behaviors in very different ways. Something that is considered polite in one culture may be seen as rude in another. A gesture of respect in one society may have an entirely different meaning elsewhere. These cultural differences affect not only how we see the world, but also how we interact with others. Recognizing this can help us become more understanding and open-minded, allowing us to navigate differences with greater empathy and respect. Education and knowledge also shape perception in powerful ways. A person who has been exposed to a wide range of ideas, perspectives, and experiences is more likely to think critically and see the bigger picture. On the other hand, someone with limited exposure may see things in a more one-dimensional way. This is why continuous learning is so important. Not just formal education, but the willingness to seek out new experiences, read widely, and engage with people from different backgrounds. The more knowledge we acquire, the more we realize how complex and multifaceted the world truly is. One of the biggest challenges in perception is overcoming personal biases. Every person has subconscious biases that influence how they interpret information. These biases are often shaped by past experiences, social conditioning, and even the media we consume. Confirmation bias, for example, makes people seek out information that supports what they already believe while ignoring anything that contradicts it. This can create a narrow and often inaccurate view of reality. Two people with opposing political beliefs can watch the same news story and come away with completely different conclusions because their minds automatically filter the information through their existing beliefs. Recognizing and challenging our biases is essential for developing a clearer and more balanced perception of the world. The way we see others is also shaped by our perceptions. If someone has been hurt or betrayed in the past, they may find it difficult to trust others, even when there is no real reason for suspicion. A person who has experienced rejection may assume that people don't like them, even if that is not true. These distorted perceptions can create unnecessary distance and misunderstandings in relationships. On the other hand, those who choose to see the best in others often build stronger and more meaningful connections. Our perceptions influence not only how we see the world, but also how we engage with the people around us. At the core of perception is the ability to step back and question our own viewpoints. Are we seeing things clearly, or are we letting emotions, biases, and past experiences cloud our judgment? Are we open to different perspectives, or are we holding on to our own views too tightly? The more we learn to challenge and refine our perceptions, the more we grow as individuals. Instead of assuming that our way of seeing things is the only way, we can begin to appreciate the diversity of thought and experience that exists in the world. In the end, perception shapes our reality, but it is not an absolute truth. It is a reflection of our inner world, influenced by countless factors. By becoming more aware of this, we can learn to see things more clearly, understand others more deeply, and navigate life with greater wisdom and empathy. Every individual views the world through the unique lens of their experiences, emotions, and upbringing. It is often said that no two people can see the exact same reality, even when looking at the same situation. This is because perception is deeply personal and shaped by countless factors, including our values, beliefs, and past encounters. Some individuals view life with optimism, seeking opportunities in every challenge, but others focus on difficulties and obstacles, feeling weighed down by their struggles. The ability to expand our perspective and understand the different ways people perceive the world is what separates those who remain stuck in their ways from those who grow and evolve. People who have a narrow view of the world often struggle to accept opinions that differ from their own. They hold tightly to their beliefs and may react defensively when confronted with opposing viewpoints. This rigidity not only limits their ability to learn, but also hinders their personal and intellectual growth. When individuals remain closed-minded, they miss out on opportunities to see the world from different angles, preventing them from developing a well-rounded and mature perspective. On the other hand, those who embrace diverse perspectives are able to broaden their understanding and navigate life with greater wisdom. They recognize that their way of thinking is not the only way, and that listening to different viewpoints does not threaten their own beliefs, but rather enriches them. Another key aspect of perspective is emotional influence. A person who has experienced betrayal in the past may approach new relationships with skepticism, while someone who has always been surrounded by kindness may naturally expect the best from others. This emotional imprint shapes the way people interpret events, often causing them to see what they expect rather than what actually is. For example, someone who has faced repeated failures may develop a belief that success is unattainable, while another person with a resilient mindset sees failure as a stepping stone to achievement. It is crucial to recognize how emotions influence our perception and work towards developing a balanced view rather than one dictated by past experiences alone. Social conditioning also plays a significant role in shaping how individuals see the world. From childhood, people are influenced by their families, cultures, and communities, which instill certain beliefs and expectations. Some grow up in environments that encourage curiosity and exploration, while others are taught to follow strict societal norms without questioning them. This difference in upbringing can lead to vastly different ways of interpreting the world. However, as individuals grow and gain exposure to new ideas, they have the opportunity to expand their perspective beyond what they were initially taught. Those who take advantage of this opportunity often find themselves more adaptable, open-minded, and capable of understanding viewpoints different from their own. Perspective is also deeply linked to the level of awareness one has about their own thoughts and biases. Many people go through life assuming that their perception is reality without questioning whether their beliefs are accurate. However, those who take the time to reflect on their thoughts and question their assumptions develop a deeper understanding of themselves and the world. They acknowledge that their initial reactions may be shaped by biases and seek to challenge their own views in order to gain greater clarity. This self-awareness is a powerful tool that allows individuals to see beyond their limited perspective and approach situations with a more objective and fair mindset. One of the most effective ways to develop a broader perspective is through exposure to different experiences and cultures. Traveling, meeting people from different backgrounds, and engaging in meaningful conversations can significantly expand one's view of the world. When individuals step outside their familiar surroundings, they are often confronted with ideas and customs that challenge their existing beliefs. This exposure helps them realize that there are many ways to approach life, and no single perspective holds all the truth. Those who actively seek new experiences and knowledge are able to cultivate a more enriched and insightful view of the world. The way we see the world ultimately determines the way we interact with it. Those who remain trapped in a narrow perspective often find themselves frustrated and disconnected, unable to understand why others think or act differently. But those who make an effort to expand their view and embrace different perspectives gain a deeper sense of wisdom, empathy, and understanding. By being open to new ideas, questioning our own assumptions, and continuously seeking growth, we allow ourselves to see the world in a way that is more informed, compassionate, and fulfilling. The way people perceive the world is often a reflection of their own inner state. Just as two individuals can look at the same painting and interpret it in completely different ways, people experience life through the unique lenses of their thoughts, emotions, and past experiences. What we see and believe is not necessarily an objective reality, but rather a version of it shaped by our understanding. This is why, despite having access to the same facts, different people can reach entirely different conclusions. The key to developing wisdom and depth in our perspective lies in understanding this truth and continuously refining the way we see the world. One of the most defining characteristics of those who possess deep understanding is their ability to listen more than they speak. People who are quick to react, judge, or express their opinions without considering different viewpoints often fail to grasp the full complexity of a situation. The loudest voices are not always the most knowledgeable ones. Instead, true wisdom often belongs to those who observe, reflect, and seek to understand before forming conclusions. They are not easily swayed by emotions or influenced by surface-level appearances. Rather than rushing to respond, they take the time to process information, ask deeper questions, and look beyond the obvious. Another significant difference between those with shallow perspectives and those with profound insights is their ability to remain composed in the face of challenges. Shallow minds tend to be reactive, easily angered, or quick to panic when faced with difficulties. They see obstacles as personal attacks or insurmountable problems. In contrast, those with depth in their thinking approach challenges with a sense of calmness. They do not allow external events to dictate their emotional state. Instead, they focus on understanding the root of the problem, finding solutions, and maintaining control over their reactions. This ability to stay centered, even in chaos, is a mark of true wisdom. Perspective is also shaped by the level of self-awareness a person has. Those who lack self-awareness often project their fears, insecurities, and unresolved issues onto others. They may be quick to blame external circumstances for their failures rather than looking inward and recognizing their own patterns of behavior. On the other hand, individuals who are deeply introspective understand that their perception of the world is heavily influenced by their inner world. They are willing to question their own biases, challenge their assumptions, and grow from their mistakes. This continuous process of self-examination allows them to develop a more balanced and insightful view of life. One of the greatest signs of depth in thinking is the ability to embrace complexity. Shallow perspectives often thrive on oversimplification. People who see the world in black and white fail to recognize the nuances that exist in every situation. They may categorize people as entirely good or entirely bad, judge situations without understanding the full context, or assume that their own experiences represent universal truth. In contrast, those who think deeply appreciate the gray areas. They understand that life is rarely straightforward and that multiple truths can exist at the same time. They do not seek simple answers to complex problems, but rather embrace the uncertainty and layers that come with genuine understanding. Empathy also plays a significant role in shaping one's perception. People who lack depth in their thinking often struggle to put themselves in others' shoes. They see the world only from their own limited perspective and assume that everyone experiences life the same way they do. This leads to misunderstandings, conflicts, and an inability to connect with others on a meaningful level. However, those with deep insight understand that every person has a unique story, shaped by different experiences, struggles, and emotions. They take the time to listen, understand, and offer compassion rather than quick judgments. Their ability to see beyond their own viewpoint allows them to form stronger relationships and navigate social interactions with greater wisdom. At the heart of developing a profound and meaningful perspective is a willingness to learn continuously. The most insightful individuals are not those who claim to have all the answers, but those who remain curious and open-minded. They do not cling to their beliefs out of pride or fear, but are willing to adapt their thinking as they gain new knowledge and experiences. This mindset of lifelong learning allows them to grow intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. They understand that wisdom is not a destination, but an ongoing journey of questioning, seeking, and evolving. Ultimately, the depth of our understanding shapes the quality of our lives. Those who remain trapped in shallow thinking often find themselves stuck in cycles of frustration, misunderstanding, and conflict. But those who cultivate wisdom, self-awareness, and empathy are able to navigate life with greater clarity, purpose, and fulfillment. By embracing a mindset of reflection, open-mindedness, and continuous learning, we can all move beyond surface-level perceptions and gain a deeper, more meaningful understanding of the world around us.